Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day. We'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go. So Bitcoin got a rejection off that 786 down to that daily support level at 42,394 on this Coinbase chart. Do we see a recovery, or do we drop down below to that 39K / 40K region with that wick down here? There is some news before we go into anything here with basically there is some options expiry, 10 billion in BTC options expiring today. So time is ticking on a bunch of positions, basically 7.7 billion open interest, 1.8 billion and 630 million on this CME level that they could come back to. And if they can keep it, if they push the price below 42,000, then they basically get an advantage on their options. If it stays above 42, then they get a short squeeze as they have to close their position at a loss, buying causing the price to go up. So there's a bit of a battle for 42K here. Can they do it until the CME gap is closed? Do they wick down and grab some liquidity and then push it up? That is the question. Either way, we are nearly break even on this trade here. We tried to scalp this going up here, possibly thinking to see if it can go higher. We will see with the modest stop in place. Well, either way, let's go look at the liquidity here on High Block Capital. What is High Block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss. And we get to see where those crispy characters are, so let's do it now. So as we came down here, slowly but surely off of that point of control rejection, we were saying that we could possibly squeeze up here because I was seeing this $373 million character. They went back to their entry and below their entry, so they are still at slightly in profit considering closing or not, but they could drift up. There's not so much liquidity over the this week because of the end of the year, so there is some $41 million character down here at 42K even. A bunch of small fish up here in this region for them to retrace back up to. Ultimately, we were looking at the higher time frame of the 7-day and the monthly. If we look at that, the 7-day is, we were looking at possibly coming to this 44K region. It looks like with that options expiration that they could. If we go to the monthly time frame here, we do have this 45K possible squeeze that they could be coming for, which is why we are in this trade slowly waiting for it to go. Let's go ahead and go into the charts, what we were seeing yesterday. And basically we were saying it could possibly squeeze up to 50, but it needs to get above that point of control. We were saying once it gets above this point of control, you could go up here. For the record, we were saying we're going to go up to this, and we rejected off of it. But if you don't go past this point of control, you're doing the exact opposite. I said I don't FOMO in up here, which is why coming back to this level was something that was interesting me. A support, daily support structure / order block / those options expiration. And you could possibly say even this. Oh, whoops. I thought this was a head and shoulder one. So possibly even saying something like that. And then you could see this come up here to those levels. So that is why we are currently in the trade, not financial advice, of course, but we were looking, we don't FOMO in at premium levels, we said, but it could very well extend up to here. Yes, this is where you can possibly find a discount. We did reclaim this wick over here at 41.8, and we have yet to recover this one and that one down here at 40,005 and 40,002. So there's a lot of high resistance up here, but overall, if you get above this, you will see some acceleration up to this level. Case in point, you need to get above that point of control for this to occur. So this is where we are looking. We are seeing this channel here that we are basically beneath currently. If we get above that equilibrium level, we could be going higher. Let's go ahead and throw on our oscillators. It is December 29th, Friday. So let's go ahead and see what we can see in the charts. MomentumMaster.info for more. And you can scroll down to the features, toggle everything at your leisure to see everything in its glory. The rockets of the stochastic array, the trend cloud, the baselines, the things we go over every day, the dynamic alerts to your phone to keep you plugged in. So the dynamic alerts, it comes every time one of these things occurs. That's why we have 99 plus in a day. Some of them are not from the thing, but from the oscillator of the leading MACD cross as well. You can do it on multiple things. You can have the baselines on a time frame be your thing, or you can have this leading MACD cross over here be your thing, or all of them. It depends on what you're like to be plugged into. How do you do the baseline cross? Well, you go here to Momentum Master A, and you can do the baseline cross over or cross under, or you can say a higher high or lower low on that time frame. The higher high, lower low look back does not need to be on for that to work. So if you have this higher high, lower low look back on this time frame, if you're making a lower low, it will tell you down here. If you're making a higher high, it will tell you on this time frame. So I could turn on the higher high on the 15 and it will tell me when it breaks 43,776. So that's cool too. You got these little features we don't even talk about that much. So coming back to that higher high, lower low look back level. So you don't need to look back to the left, necessarily speaking. So let's go ahead and do our diligence through the time frame, starting with the 3-day. So the 3-day, we already know that that point of control is there, so we're just going to delete that and delete this channel. Okay. So we got 23 hours for this 3-day to close. Do we close with an extension up here to these levels, or do we close bearishly to the downside? We talked about this cross down event from Friday, December 15th, talking about the instances where this spelled doom or to the downside. So do we get this after a rise up, similar to April 4th, where we had a cross down event and then days later we had a rise up and then eventual fall? That very well could be the case. That is the 3-day cross down event of the baseline locked and loaded, and you could be seeing this acceleration of the Williams suppressing this KD line lower. The money flow coming above the RSI, suggesting a fatigue of the money flow wanting to come spill to the downside on the 3-day. So the 3-day ultimately bearish. You're getting a selling off wick, a shooting star in candle terms. And we are at the outskirts of the channel, which we are overextended on, which we have yet to come back to the cloud or this super trend level down at that 40,000 range. Coming to the daily time frame, baseline also suppressing the price since back here on December 12th, and the price has not been able to get above that. This is why we shorted it on Sunday over here off the top rope and took it down to on Monday and closed it, unfortunately, but looking to possibly get this snag up here for that CME burst to the top rope. All right, so the money flow coming above the RSI here, suggesting some fatigue again. Same thing happened on Monday. We got a drop down. Does this get a burst up and eventual drop? The Williams also suppressing the KD takeoff of the stochastic RSI. Do we see this curvature of the cloud also start to taper at 2 o'clock here on the daily time frame? Going to the 22 getting this cross down event since Tuesday, and we haven't been able to come back or establish that point of control level, and just coming back lower with that suppression of the 22 cross down, getting the Williams suppression of the KD lines here. We're coming back beneath the cloud, and now we are not positive in the trade. If we go to the 12 hour coming beneath the cloud here, and you're getting this curvature on the cloud here, so this curvature could be coming lower as you trade with the cloud until you can make candles above this cloud. We are seeing some bearishness to the downside. This little buyback here from Tuesday was an attempt to get things going to the upside, at least to stop out some of the shorts here, get some liquidity, possibly for another bounce. We saw this 706 bounce last night. And 12-hour time frame, KD line suppression by the Williams here as we got this alarm cross back here on Monday. So Monday was the ultimate like short entry that for the week as people cash out for the new year. Coming to the 6 hour time frame, seeing this meandering around of the cloud here, and we could not close a candle above this cloud. So getting this cloud to close, this candle to close above it would have been the squeeze up, but they still have time for that news for the CME, for that options expiration for New York. It needs to be by the New York session. So watch for how London handles this into New York. Will be an interesting day, to say the least. Either we get acceleration and continuation to the downside because they couldn't keep it up, or we get this burst up to that 45K bit of liquidity up here. Most likely happening today because of the time delay of the options expiration. The 6 hour cross down event is locked and loaded here. You did get a cross up and a cross down, so you're getting a little bit of ambiguity here, similar to here where we got a cross down and a cross up. So which one is the one to trust on the 6 hour? Coming to the 4 hour. So the 4 hour time frame. It was funny, I just want to talk about indicators really quick, because there was this dude on this Discord channel who will remain nameless, but he basically at every turn finds a way to take a stab at indicators, because he's all smart money concept candle gazing, and this guy basically talks about how indicators are like Picasso traders and it's all fake and everything. And so I showed him the payout receipts, and I'm like, it doesn't matter what you think. If you don't find value in something, then you don't find value in something. But if the logic is in what pays out. So I mean, I've proven day after day that this is accurate. So I don't know what more you need. You know, if you're not into it, you're not into it, but don't disparage other people's things, especially if they're profitable. So using your disparaging remarks to try to get people to upsell into your mentorship is the lowest class thing you could do. The best thing you could do is show receipts. And I said, hey, you want to show your statements? And then he deleted the post. So childish. So, but yeah, like looking at here, you on the 4 hour, we reclaimed this cloud on December 20th, and then it burst up to that range. We're currently bearish and beneath the cloud. However, as I said yesterday, when you get above the cloud, that would be where you would start to feel that this is actually going to occur. You'd have to get above it. So we'd have to see some acceleration up into this region. This is quite a ways away. So currently we have the cross up event of the baselines, and we are not holding the weighted or the baselines just yet. So we would need to see a little bit more acceleration here for me to like this long that I'm in. Even though we are positive, I moved my stop loss up because I was previously down at like 142.1, but I moved it up just because it already had a move up. So if it negates at this point, the idea is nullified. So I was just looking at this as a liquidity grab, so I still have it in negative. But if it starts to accelerate up to like 42.9, then I'll move this up into profit. I'm not going to trim because my risk reward ratio is to see it go through to fruition to this wick up here at 44.6 and that pool up at 45K. So that's just me. You do you. But I'm seeing some sort of acceleration into the CME that they tried to dump it, but it was not as furious or fear-inducing as it could have. 1, 2, you have the rally of the alts that have possibilities to inject that liquidity back into Bitcoin at that level to ride that up for taking their profits and rinsing and repeating. That's 2. And then 3, we have yet to get above this level, so we could come down to this resistance level, even though we have a rocket ship that did start to take off here on USDT dominance. We're seeing this potential of coming into this level here for that 45K and then starting to make our ascent up on USDT dominance. If you look at the Bitcoin dominance also getting a bounce off of the 618 level here. We were looking at this pocket earlier saying if it gets a dominance bounce, then everyone will start to put stuff back into Bitcoin. Still, we're in a bearish trend-based fib level, so even if you get up to this 51% mark, you get a rejection and come lower for a double bottom. So this is the dominance. Interesting how the nukes play out, right? Nuke was up here. Do we get that effect? All right, so looking at Dixie, the Dixie had a rocket ship down here and a gap that we were looking at here, which it promptly reclaimed. We had some rocket ships start to play out for Dixie as it gave a bit of a tumble for the assets like NASDAQ and Bitcoin a little bit. Bitcoin holding up stronger than NASDAQ did in terms of the ferocity in which it was dumping. If we go to, where is it? Gold. So gold also took a little bit of a profit hit towards the end of the year here. Gold coming back after hitting this level over here. Basically hit the top of this candle. You still have a fair value gap up in here on the hourly time frame. This must be a daily draw on liquidity. So they're coming to that 4 hour, most likely. There's a 4 hour gap. So coming to this BPR fair value gap, it came just up to the top of that candle and then started to retrace back down. You're still holding this super trend on gold, so just like Bitcoin, if it does another bounce for Run for Profit Friday and then comes back down again, could recover that on the sorry, I'm trying to go left and I should have used the replay mode. All right, so on the 15-minute, you have some vector candle in here that we could be recovering. There is a wick here too, so if we want to be accurate as can be, then basically coming to some sort of resistance level. You could name it something else and say you're a zealot of some other trader who renamed and rebranded it. You could say it's a bearish breaker or whatever you want to call it. It's just resistance. Everything at the end of the day, support and resistance. And anyone rebranding it so they can buy some, upsell you on their mentorship, please look at receipts first. Receipts. If they are not showing receipts, they are not who they say they are. So we came down to this level here. We're going to look at some wick down there for gold. We could come and wick off the super trend, even the cloud still. Doesn't mean that it's going up from here. If we go to the lower time frame for gold, gold got the cross down on the hourly, just up at that resistance level. And yeah, so just like Bitcoin, the store of value assets took a hit with the bounce of the dollar. Does the dollar continue on its merry path to the upside, or does it give these store value and risk on assets a bit of a bounce chance? So we could come down to this level and test equilibrium even at the very basic level, coming to 100.962, testing this level for the dollar and then seeing how it reacts around here. Let's go ahead and look at some stuff for my man. How did Matic hold up for Steven? Now's the time where you can ask for some different things to occur. We were talking about this possibly coming down. It did come up, grab some liquidity up here, and then start to make its way down here. We were talking about possibly trimming on Matic. What were we looking at? What is that arrow exactly? We were saying this was a level to watch out for. Basically shoulder, head, shoulder, and then they came up and took it down. I think that was the 4-hour cloud. Let's go see that. It was the 4-hour cross down event. So we were seeing this cross down flash. That's what that arrow was. It was this thing. We were saying watch for this to hold. If you get the cross down of the 4-hour, which we did, even though we got a stop hunt, it just bled out to this level. So this is how the baselines have you at hello. It was giving you the insinuation as we came into a resistance level here at 105. We said we could go up to 120 at some point, but a retrace coming into this vector and refueling would make the most sense. Coming back to the cloud, you're also having this kind of taper effect to the 4-hour. So coming back and kissing that cloud makes the most sense for Matic, and it's doing just that. As everyone trims and possibly takes their profits, and this is why if the USDT dominance is going up and people are getting hit into USDT, does that mean that they are holding the USDT to re-enter at a key level? Are they going to, and if the dominance is starting to rise, are they going to take that USDT and put it into Bitcoin as it pushes up to 45K? Will those profits from the alts start to come back in and ride this up to crush those options that are expiring? That is kind of what we are here to see, and putting our money on the table to boot. So we will see that occur. On the hourly time frame for BTC, you're starting to get this cross-up event of the baselines. Can we get some acceleration? There is a fair value gap up in here from the drop down. How do I find these? Well, if you're unfamiliar, you can use this free indicator: fractal break imbalance, fair value gap, liquidity void. Turn that on. It will put those there for you. See how quickly I put that there? So I don't necessarily need it. I can see this without the indicator, but at some point you'll learn that it's the wick to the left and the wick to the right that creates the gap. So you don't need it at that point. It's not rocket science, but there's an unreclaimed one here too. And I think they colored the unreclaimed ones. So that big one, so you got two over there, which is nice to see. So you got two gaps that we could accelerate up into here, which basically show you the resting liquidity. So if you don't have high block, you can kind of guess based on fair value gap that there is some liquidity there. There is an $84 million short there, and there's a band up at 43, 42, 14 million stacked with the $45 million 100xer at 43.06. So the 43.06 guy, yeah, up here, that is that liquidity. So there's a fair value gap, and there is a short pool kind of up in here that is, you can see it stacked over here. You see the different shorts that they're engineering here in this band over to the right here. So they could come to this gap, and then there's another one up here, 43.485. 43.485 should coincide with that. No, it doesn't. It's up here. See, this is why it's not so accurate for me. So I just see them, but I don't add them to the charts. You see, I generally just add the liquidity pools because I don't like to guess. I like to know. So this one is up in the 485 region. So coming to the 485. You can tell I have a little bit of animosity for the smart money concept traders because willful blindness is not smart. You should not be willfully blind to every aspect of trading. Everything is just a derivative of price action, one. So all indicators is just derivative of price action. Two, if you really want to get into candles and stuff, footprints is the way to go. We will be making a video about that over the holiday, about a TAS platform and how I use it for NASDAQ as well, because it will keep you from guessing what's happening in the candles. So there is some liquidity up in here, not much because it's sparse over the holiday, but with that gap thing and then coming, we have that possibility of that hourly cloud. But here we're seeing this 15 attempt to get reclaimed. It's acting weak. You're getting some this deviation of this shift here could possibly take you if you hold this 492 region. All right, let's go see anyone else. Let's see. I don't see you in the Discord. Come join us. Hola, he's in there. Can we take a look at Beam? Clue, been traveling, letting everything where we'll hop back in. Nice. So Beam, yeah, we can do Beam. Let's do Beam. What's up, everyone? So, yeah. Beam. Which one should I look at? Bybit? Bybit doesn't really have as much liquidity, so it's also having issues like Bitcoin, everything getting paralyzed as the Bitcoin dominance possibly rises. I'd be careful of alts right now, because if you're seeing the Bitcoin dominance potentially rise up like it is here off that region, that 618 bounce, then your dominance is going to have increase. And then even if Bitcoin decreases, you're going to have a dump fast for the alts. And then if it increases and it's stable, there's still nothing going on. If it increases, they decrease too, because everyone wants to wash their profits into BTC. So this is what we are looking at with regards to alts, seeing that the sector shift away from total 3 and the topping out here, possibly coming back into BTC. We're seeing a bleeding out of total in general. Getting some acceleration here. It's going to stop me out or not. We're not trying to take huge losses here. Not trying to trade heavy over the holiday. Okay, so we're coming back to Beam. Let's look at Beam real quick. Beam. So yeah, basically Beam, I would be beaming my way out of Beam. If you're waiting for something, I would be looking for a BTC play over an alt right now. Most likely all the alts are getting trimmed, getting their hair cut like I need to do. And wow, some of them still holding. OP, Cake, Mina, BSV. I don't even know what BSV is. I've seen it a lot. Bitcoin SV. So let's do a proper analysis. So you come back to the daily on Beam. It's a very new coin from October, and you saw nothing but a run up, and then we're coming back down potentially. So if you take it from the low all the way to the high, and then you just look at where we're possibly coming back to, we're at a premium level, coming back to a discount at the equilibrium. The super trend has you at hello for that idea, about 19% away. Hi. And seeing there's not much data, so there's not going to be much to look at, but we are coming across the cloud here. The cloud is kind of curving on the 12, so even if you get a little bit of a bounce here, you could be coming a little bit lower. Cloud is not holding in the similar fashion. Coming to the 6 hour, also creating some high resistance here. You had a basic trend-based fib from here to here to here. That was your highest point, and it maintained the 236. Let's go ahead and pull that up from, let's just do the full move there. All right, so you held the 236 level for the bearish trend-based fib. Even here it held, so it's starting to come down. So I would look for it to possibly find some sort of support here at that 65706 level down here. Okay, coming even lower, and that also coincides with that equilibrium level. So looking at this in terms of reaccumulation ideas, I don't know if they let you short it. So people just getting trapped and possibly having hopium and then selling to the smarter players down in here. If you are going to see upside, it would be from this reaction perhaps over here. And then going to the hourly getting some acceleration. You are getting 5 time frames oversold, but once again, sector switching even though we had this 5, 5, 5, finally got 6. So maybe you'll get the 6 or the rocket over here, and then that's where you would get an alert to your phone saying, hey, you might want to step right back in. And you could set those dynamic alerts by going to your ultimate, hitting this and just saying create. And then it will create that dynamic alert that keeps you plugged into every one of these little changes in all of the time frames. Set and forget for Beam. So watching to see if it comes down into that region, similar to Matic. So this is why we were looking yesterday. Wait, what? Ah. That's why we were looking at this coming down for Matic. Same for all the alts, really. Oh, looks like we got stopped out. We did. Oh well. So that is a loss. So we will reassess. Got stopped out. You should always have a stop loss. So it's $45. Not that much of a loss. Okay, so looking at BTC here, we will see how London manipulates and then possibly reassess the situation. So we are coming back here into the liquidity. Let's go see what is induced here. Not much shorts or longs. Looks like they're coming possibly back to that 42K region for the long liquidity here. Possibly have some resting orders there for that potential closing. We'll reassess off the stream. And yeah, so it did not maintain this cloud at all. And you're getting an acceleration of the vector candle to the downside. Okay, and do you come back into these wicks? The overall wick levels down here at 42K and 41.8. This should be deleted. I don't know why we have that there. So ultimately need to see some reclaiming of this 12-hour, or there's no interest for me in a long. It's kind of a ambiguous structure. It's not my normal go-to play. This is more of the go-to sauce, coming back and reclaiming the cloud on this lower time frame. So we would need to see something similar on the 15 where we come back and we reclaim the cloud, and then we would take the possibility from there. Did not reclaim it. We accelerated through, so it stopped me out, and I don't have an idea to remain in from that point. Ultimately maintaining the bearish super trend from up here on Thursday, and has not broken super trend of the bearish nature, and the cloud is weak sauce here as we rip on through to the downside. So the Asia dump, possible acceleration down to that 786 level down here at 42.1, reclaiming this wick down below. Do we get a reclaiming of the 42K region liquidity down here, 42.010? There's a character that opened up there, $41 million. We could see that taken. Thanks for the breakdown. Yeah, no problem. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to see how this operates. We are not getting a reaction here at the 706 level. It looks like it was a liquidity grab to the downside, and they are going to accelerate in an ABC fashion down below. We could be taking this from here to here to here, and this will give you that acceleration idea. Ooh, they came right down to it. So this guy, I think, got eliminated on the stream. Does it update? Hello? Wait, what? It went down to 42.1, so it should have eliminated that guy. Weird. Either way, we'll say it anyway, because he did get eliminated.
Fatality.
Even though I was long, I got stopped out frugally. This guy got eliminated. So that guy is out for the count. Was that this one? No. At that 42.1 region. So we're gonna bid you adieu, wrap it up in a nutshell. So ideally, after some sort of manipulation here, we came down to that 42.1 region. This should be updated. I don't know why it's not. It wicked down into this guy down here, the $42 million character. Oh, it closed. Here, this guy. It took out this $41 million character here. I don't know why this is not updated. That's weird. And you're getting some acceleration. So this was a negated idea here. And you're seeing this 236 for the bearish idea hold coming down into that 786 at 42.100. Do you get a little bit of a reaction here for that liquidity grab? Asia sauce. Ultimately got a lot of downside ambiguity here, so any type of long is more speculative than anything on my indicators because you got a lot of cross down events that have yet to be reclaimed. So that is that. Well, ladies and gents, that is my story and I'm sticking to it. I was hoping that we will see after this liquidity grab a potential rise to the upside over this break, but we will wait for more structure to appear in the charts and we will not hang around here to see it. Ultimately, seeing that the total 3 is dropping and the dominance is potentially rising and the USDT dominance is rising, they're knocking people into trades, but you could get this acceleration down to here for that 45K hit before market reversal. So we are here for it either way, and that is my story and I'm sticking to it. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and I'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision,